Hello and welcome to my Ever Messy Art Studio. My name is Keeks, and today we are gonna play in my new sketchbook. This is the sketchbook that actually replaced the one that I did in my last tour. And it's really funny, when I first started this sketchbook, I thought it was gonna be just like my other one, so I started it out with like fish because I love drawing fish and this cool octopus that we saw at the St. Louis Aquarium. But then I don't know what happened, but suddenly I was like, you know what? I want to study some anime and I want to study something that I love, which is Dragon Ball Z and Akira Toriyama. So I did some different artwork from it. So this is Goku from Dragon Ball, and then you've got Master Roshi, Bulma, and Krillin. And it's really funny because I put notes next to each of them. I was like, oh no, still can't draw her right, because I gave her like a chin. And then with Krillin, I kept like arguing with myself about how big his head should be. And finally, after drawing it like 4 or 5 times, I was just like, you know what? This is the head. This is what you get now, Krillin. And then with Master Roshi, this one I drew with a pen. And only a pen, so that way I couldn't erase. And because of that, it was really funny. His staff had to move over. But I think I did a pretty good job for, staying in that. So I did these people, and then I also did a Vegeta spread. And what I think is most exciting about this one is if I go like that, that is truly Vegeta. It's just I accidentally made his chin too long, but that's okay. I think it looks great. And this is the Badman shirt. Yeah, I just wanted to capture some moments because I thought they were fun. And then I also did a Bulma spread. So as you can see, I've been really busy and really enjoying doing this. So I thought I would film one so that way you can kind of see what my process is on it. And really it's like a study to me, because I'm trying to get as close as I can to match line for line what I see. And also where the shading is. Except on these two, I didn't like the shading that was in the original pictures, so I added my own, and I think I did pretty good. I think I'm learning. I think it's going good. So, what I thought we would do is I am going to film myself trying to draw Majin Buu. And I think that'll be really fun. Now, I might move him down a little bit, because I do want his little head tentacle to show, because I think that's important, because he is Majin Buu, or at least maybe make it hang over a little bit longer so you can see it. But other than that, I'm going to try to keep it as close to this as possible, and I'm really curious about this fellow here. I think this one will be the hardest one to do. So yeah, let's get started. Originally, I'd planned to show you the drawing process of this piece, but unfortunately it was so light because of the colored pencil that you really couldn't see it on camera. So instead I just went ahead and cut that out and went straight into the coloring of it. And I am using Artex paint markers for this process. The idea is to first do the background and then work my way up. So I'll do the background, then I'll do the Kid Buu kind of spirit thing, and then I will do Majin Buu himself. So that's kind of the process there. And I've been practicing making clouds with my Artex markers because I figured out that if you dab your finger on it, you can kind of blend it a little bit and then put a little bit of white on top for a highlight. So I've been having a lot of fun with these clouds. They kind of remind me of Toy Story in a way. So I think the part that I struggled with the most was actually Kid Buu, which I'm working on right now. I think Kid Buu was really hard to do because he doesn't have any facial features, so it was really hard to kind of eyeball and guess where his details were, which was one of the reasons why I chose this picture anyway, because I wanted to challenge myself and I thought it would be interesting to try. And it did end up being very interesting, and what I feel like I learned from it is that I do better with things that are meant to be outlined. But I am glad that I tried to do him, and I think I did him to the best of my abilities. And then I really enjoyed working on Majin Buu himself. The very first pink I used, though, I almost didn't use that pink, which is the one that I have in my hand right now, because it was actually starting to run out of ink. Or I guess it's not really ink, it's paint, isn't it? I was starting to run out of paint and I was like, oh my gosh, oh no, should I go ahead and do the full thing? But the pink was just so perfect that I went ahead and went with it anyway. And I'm glad that I did because it really went well with the darker pink that I chose. And I feel like if I hadn't used that pink, he wouldn't have looked right. He just would have looked like somebody else possibly. So I'm really pleased that I went ahead and did that. I think the hardest part about Majin Buu is making him look plump enough, especially in his jaw area. I feel like that part, whenever I was drawing it, like I was having a problem with making it look round enough. But by the time I went over it, I think it ended up looking fine. Something else is in the original picture, there were 2 grays and 1 black on his vest, and I've never noticed that in the show before, which I guess that's kind of the great thing about animation is sometimes you just don't notice those little details until you're actually doing them yourself, which is kind of fun. That's one of the reasons why I've been working on studying so many of these Akira Toriyama pictures is because I've been working on like where shadows go, how to plan where you should put certain colors at, and really, you know, figuring out where to block in the colors before doing outlines, because I'm normally somebody who draws first and then puts in the colors, so this is completely backwards compared to what I normally do, but I really enjoyed this. And I definitely will continue practicing more because it's so much fun. And then after I got all the color blocked in, that's when I did the line art. I am using the Micron pens this time instead of my Kuretake Millennial pens, just because I've been using my Millennial pens so much and some of them are starting to dry out a little bit. I'm going to have to order more of them. So I decided to trust these cheaper pens, which it ended up working out pretty good. I don't think I noticed that much of a difference. In my Micron set, there was only 1 pen, which was the very smallest one that didn't work out as well. The rest, my son just sneezed in the living room. Sorry if you heard that. But the rest of the pens seemed to be juicy enough, so I didn't have any issues with that. I really love putting in the line art afterwards because it seems to bring the picture to life, because first you just have these like chunky blocks of colors, and then suddenly whenever you put the lines in, everything makes sense and looks cool. Okay, and I think that pretty much does it. I'm going to zoom in a bit so that you can see the details maybe a little bit more. But yeah. So all in all, that took me about an hour and a half, I want to say, which isn't too bad. And I think he looks pretty cool. Now, I'm not too sure about this color part right here where it's supposed to be Kid Buu behind him, like a spirit form of him. But like, other than that, I think Majin Buu himself looks awesome. So I don't think I totally got this part right, but I definitely think I nailed him. And I like that I used the white as the highlights. I think that worked out really well again. And I'm just really pleased with how Majin Buu himself looks. I think he looks great. So if you are someone who is subscribed, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, hey, welcome. Nice to meet you. And if you could just share, like, subscribe, all those great things, I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye.